We all know that Family Guy loves to push the envelope and test the boundaries of television. But sometimes the writers take things just a little bit too far and cross the line into completely bizarre, highly questionable territory.
Hey, you ever accidentally to young pictures of your mom?
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Today, we are breaking down most sus Family Guy episodes of all time. Let's start the show. Kicking off our list of the absolute most sus Family Guy episodes is Season 10, Episode 10, Quagmire and Meg. What happens when the teenage daughter of the Griffin family officially turns 18? Well, the neighborhood's biggest creep immediately swoops in and aggressively romances her. Let's break it down. The deeply uncomfortable situation kicks off at Meg's surprise 18th birthday party.
Surprise!
Oh dear. Mom, if it's a surprise party, where is everybody?
Sadly, absolutely nobody but her own family shows up.
Chris, what the hell? I thought you were gonna pay the kids from school to show up. I gave you $300.
And Peter actually had to be paid just to attend.
I'm really sorry about this, honey. It looks like nobody's coming. But we had fun at the Teen Choice Awards, right?
I guess.
But there is one uninvited guest who happily arrives for a very specific reason, Glenn Quagmire.
So, where is the birthday girl?
Oh, hi, Mr. Quagmire.
Knowing that Meg is now legally an adult, Quagmire immediately moves in for the kill.
Anyway, this is a special day for you, young lady. Here's a gift for you.
A scented candle? As a girl, I love this.
He starts inching closer to her and telling impressive piloting stories, completely creeping out Peter and Brian.
Peter, that skank is your daughter. Oh my God, you're right!
Desperate for any kind of romantic attention, Meg eats it right up and ends up sliding into Quagmire's DMs later that night. Her sweet messages quickly take a highly questionable turn, and Quagmire successfully convinces Meg to go on a date.
Oh, hey, Mr. G. How's it going?
Quagmire, what are you doing here?
Hi, Glenn. Bye, you guys. Me and Glenn are going out.
What?
Stewie actually tries to step in and stop it, but shockingly, Lois pushes her 18-year-old daughter to go out with the middle-aged man.
Lois, you out of your mind? We can't let Quagmire take Meg out on a date. That guy'll bang anything.
The date goes off without a hitch, and Quagmire uses his years of experience to completely woo Meg into a deeply uncomfortable relationship.
I really want to see you again, though.
Oh, you know it.
While Peter tries his best to put an end to it, Lois is momentarily blinded by Quagmire's charm.
I told you not to push her about this Quagmire thing. If you push too hard, you're gonna push her right into his arms.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
Nothing.
Until Peter reveals that Quagmire is taking Meg away for a weekend getaway at his remote cabin.
Quagmire has a name for that cabin. He calls it his cabin. Oh my God, I can't believe you knew about this and you let her go.
Doing exactly what you told me to do.
Realizing exactly what Quagmire's intentions are, Peter and Lois frantically race to the cabin to save their daughter's innocence.
Come on, guys, really? Let's go! What the is going on up there?
They arrive just in time, with Peter violently busting down the door to interrupt Quagmire and Meg's highly inappropriate underwear ice cream party.
You get away from my daughter, you Meg, get in the car. We're going home.
Finally stepping up as protective parents, they immediately send Meg home. Lois then delivers a terrifying parting threat to Quagmire, promising him severe physical harm if he ever touches her daughter again.
I don't want to see your face.
Thankfully, Quagmire gets the message loud and clear. But honestly, seeing a middle-aged man aggressively pursue his best friend's teenage daughter the exact second she turns 18 easily makes this one of the most incredibly sus episodes in Family Guy history. Coming in at number 2 on our list of the most sus Family Guy episodes is Season 13, Episode 12, Stewie Is Enceinte. What happens when a 1-year-old baby feels like his best friend is pulling away? Well, he decides the best way to save the friendship is to secretly use his canine buddy's DNA to get himself pregnant. Let's break down this horrifyingly bizarre cross-species birth. The deeply uncomfortable situation kicks off when Stewie tries to convince Brian to go to the grocery store with him to buy food for his new gluten-free diet. When Brian refuses and ditches him, Stewie starts to panic that Brian is losing interest in their friendship. Believing the old trope that having a baby together will magically save their bond,
that's how Brian and I are going to improve our relationship. We're going to have a baby.
Stewie lures Brian into a fake tea party to secretly collect some of the dog's hair and saliva.
I'm just going to take a little bit of his DNA, and soon we'll be proud parents, like Ron Livingston's parents.
Using his newly collected DNA samples,
you're going to watch me get pregnant. I want to look at you when it happens.
Stewie builds a highly questionable fertilization device and actually manages to successfully impregnate himself with Brian's offspring. When Stewie drops the massive news, Brian is absolutely traumatized and begs him to terminate the pregnancy.
What? Brian? We're pregnant! Oh my God! And in 18 years he's going to move away!
But Stewie firmly refuses. Stewie actually goes to Dr. Hartman for a checkup, and despite the doctor briefly noting how incredibly young his patient looks, he completely ignores the massive red flags.
Your vagina seems to have a peanut too test.
Oh, right! sneezed real hard and all that came out.
Later, Brian and Stewie awkwardly go baby clothes shopping and even organize a maternity photo shoot,
I like these. These are good. Very classy.
acting as if this entire situation is totally normal. The timeline accelerates at a crazy speed, and Stewie suddenly goes into labor while the duo is out getting lunch.
My water just broke. Oh my god. It's okay. Don't panic. Call the doula.
They frantically rush to the car, but it's too late, leading to one of the most deeply disturbing.
Oh god, it's coming. Oh, can you see the head?
I don't know where to look.
But maybe you should look at the part of me where there's a baby coming out. Oh!
Visually horrifying birth scenes in television history. Stewie gives birth to a litter of mutated, cross-species puppies that are unfortunately riddled with severe, terrifying medical issues due to the bizarre genetics.
And I think that one is blind. We'll have to get him little sunglasses.
Right, because dog head, human ears over here doesn't react to anything I say.
Hey,
As the highly unstable puppies tragically begin to pass away one by one, Brian finally opens up to Stewie. He explains that he was only keeping his distance because Stewie was being moody.
I was only distant because you've been so moody lately. I thought you needed more space. I always want to hang out with you.
And he simply thought the baby wanted some space. The two share a weirdly sweet heart-to-heart amidst the absolute chaos, and decide to drop the surviving puppies off at a local animal shelter.
this is for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be adopted.
Oh god, yeah.
Honestly, secretly creating a litter of mutant dog babies just to save a friendship is undoubtedly one of the most incredibly sus things to ever happen in Quahog. Coming in at number 3 on our list of the most sus Family Guy episodes is Season 14, Episode 13, An App a Day. What happens when a high schooler gets some terrible dating advice and sends an unsolicited picture to his crush? Well, if you are Chris Griffin, you end up getting labeled as a registered offender and voluntarily chemically castrating yourself. Let's get into this wildly uncomfortable storyline. The disaster starts innocently enough when Peter discovers phone apps, immediately overuses them, and ruins his phone by taking it into the shower.
My phone's broken.
I'm not surprised.
I took it in the shower because I didn't know you could pause a game.
He buys a new one and hands his busted old phone down to Chris.
Yay! Something my dad held in the bathroom!
Armed with his very first smartphone, Chris confides in Mort that he has a huge crush on a classmate named Marcy Miller. Mort, giving the absolute worst advice imaginable, tells Chris that kids don't talk anymore. Instead, they just text pictures of their business to get a girl's attention.
Chris, no one talks to each other anymore. If you want to get a girl's attention, you text her a picture of your
Chris actually listens to him and sends the highly unsanitary, unsolicited photo right then and there. Unsurprisingly, things do not go smoothly. Peter and Lois are called into the principal's office where Joe is waiting for them.
It appears Chris sent an inappropriate photo of himself to one of his classmates.
That's right. He texted a picture of his pee.
Because Chris is a minor who just distributed an illegal image, Joe has no choice but to officially label him a registered offender.
When Chris sent that picture, he was technically distributing child pornography.
Child pornography? Joe, that's crazy.
Chris's name and face are plastered all over the local news, turning him into a total social outcast. To clear his record, the law forces Chris to take a rehabilitation course run by the absolute last person who should be teaching it.
You have to complete a rehabilitation course.
Oh, that sounds awful!
Quagmire. Chris absolutely hates being surrounded by creeps.
Mr. Quagmire, this is terrible, and do I really have to be here?
But he learns there is one other legal alternative: chemical castration, which means taking a ton of pills that completely destroy his biological urges. Desperate to prove he isn't a creep, Chris shocks his family by voluntarily taking the pills.
Mother, father, I decided to have myself chemically castrated.
He returns home with neat new clothes, a haircut, and a highly unsettling, soothing voice. With his mind permanently out of the gutter, Chris actually begins to thrive. He aces his biology and Spanish tests, joins the debate team, and even starts tutoring other kids. Peter hates this new version of his son, and even tries to jumpstart Chris's desires by taking him to a highly questionable adult meetup brunch.
Hey everybody, try my wife's ambrosia. If you like my wife's sniz, you're gonna love her ambrosia.
But it completely fails.
I don't like this. I want to go home.
Lois, on the other hand, is thrilled that Chris is finally excelling at life.
You know what, Peter? Maybe there's a silver lining to this fiasco. Not thinking about sex all the time seems to have allowed Chris to excel in other areas.
But the wholesome streak comes to a screeching halt when Marcy Miller approaches Chris at school to apologize for getting him in trouble.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That was just my dumb, overprotective dad.
She places a friendly hand on his shoulder, and that single touch instantly overrides all the chemicals, reigniting the intense fire deep inside him.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Unable to control his completely revived urges, Chris immediately sprints off to do something terrible to himself, easily making this one of the most sus and deeply uncomfortable episodes in the show's history.
Well, Chris, you killed that librarian, but we're glad to have you back to your old self.
Thanks, you guys. I guess chemical castration isn't for everyone.
Wrapping up our list of the absolute most sus Family Guy episodes is Season 9, Episode 12, The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair. What happens when a vulnerable teenage girl is asked to babysit and help out her handicapped neighbor? Well, if you are Meg Griffin, you develop a terrifying obsession that ends with you literally nursing his infant daughter. Let's break down this incredibly disturbing finale. The deeply uncomfortable situation begins when Bonnie has to leave town to visit her father in the hospital.
I'm going out of town for a few days to visit my father in the hospital. I was hoping that while I was gone, you could look in on Susie and Joe.
Lois promises to check in on Joe and baby Susie, but naturally, she passes the chore off to Meg.
Bonnie wants you to look after Susie and Joe while she's out of town.
What? Why me? I don't want to have to do that.
At first, Meg hates the idea, but after helping Joe with his leg stretches, he repays the favor by giving her a ride to school.
So, how are your academics going?
Good. Real good.
Joe is actually incredibly nice to her, trying to relate to her social struggles and defending her in front of the other kids.
Most times people just drop me off a block away so they don't have to be seen with me.
That's gay. I don't mind being seen with you.
You don't?
Of course not.
When a classmate jokingly asks if Joe is her new boyfriend, Meg takes the idea a little too literally.
Yeah, that's my boyfriend.
And completely leans into the delusion. Meg's innocent crush quickly spirals into a terrifying, full-blown obsession.
Thanks, Mom, but I want to be there when he first gets up. He's so cute.
What?
She starts showing up at Joe's house early to cook breakfast while wearing a highly questionable sexy outfit.
What's with the getup?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to look sexy for Susie.
But things cross the line from weird to criminal when she actually puts on Bonnie's clothes and intercepts a phone call from her.
Is that Bonnie's dress?
Oh, yeah. Susie spit up on me and I didn't want to go all the way home, so I just threw this on.
When Bonnie announces she is coming home early, Meg literally drives all the way to Maine just to sneak a weapon into Bonnie's luggage.
Ma'am, this bag contains a concealed weapon. I'm gonna have to place you under arrest.
Oh my goodness, how did that get in there?
Ensuring she gets arrested by the TSA. With Bonnie out of the picture, Meg treats Joe to a romantic dinner and blatantly tells him she wants to have a baby with him.
So, listen, there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
What's that?
Do you ever think about having another baby?
But the absolute peak of sus Family Guy moments happens when baby Susie starts crying. Instead of getting a bottle, Meg just completely bypasses all boundaries of human decency and actually breastfeeds Joe's infant daughter herself. Even Susie's inner monologue notes that the deeply disturbing act tastes like a dirty penny. A thoroughly creeped out Joe tries to get Peter and Lois to intervene, but they completely brush him off.
Meg has a crush on me.
Oh my God!
Lois finally realizes how crazy Meg is acting and tries to talk some sense into her.
You don't have a crush on Joe, do you?
I don't know.
Pointing out that Meg and Joe have absolutely nothing in common.
You're taking care of him and you're feeling a closeness that you're misinterpreting as a romantic connection. But think about it, Meg, you two have nothing in common.
To prove her mother wrong, Meg runs outside and literally throws herself in front of a moving car so she can be paralyzed just like Joe.
Meg! What did you do?
I made us the same, Joe. Now we can be together!
Luckily, surviving the hit and run finally knocks some sense into Meg, and she realizes how completely insane she has been acting.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just wanted us to be closer.
She apologizes to both Joe and a recently released Bonnie, but honestly, framing a woman for a federal crime just so you can breastfeed her baby definitely secures this episode the #1 spot on our sus list.
Like such an
Don't. I'm lucky to have you as a neighbor, and even luckier to have you as a friend.
Thanks. I'm lucky to have you as a friend, too.